All right, y'all. What's up? What's going on? Let's cut this music short. Welcome back to your favorite WMMA podcast. Hashtag CB99 Talks, episode 181. Back in the building, y'all. A surprise show, right? Kind of a surprise show. I didn't really plan on going live today, earlier this week. I just planned on, doing Monday, and then I was going to be chilling. But I had to jump back on because well, number one, I wanted to talk about these fights coming up. I wanted to go ahead and give some picks here. But I had none other than, one of my subscribers. Y'all know him well, Two Beasts. Two Beasts. He wanted to speak on some things here in a minute. As far as, I guess, some discussions that he might have been having with some of y'all. And this particular flyweight championship fight that we might not get, right? So yeah, that's why this episode is titled perfectly, man. It's The Beast Speaks. So you can either think of Manon, or we can let it refer to Two Beasts, because Two Beasts wants to speak tonight in a little bit here. But yeah, we got this boxing card. What's up, Marcus? We got this boxing card, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, which I don't really care about that, but I do want to see that Taylor Serrano fight. So if it pops up while I'm on, which I don't plan on being on that long, I will be jumping back and forth looking at that. But with the fight being the co-main event, I don't think it'll be coming on within the hour here. So yeah, we should be good. But yeah, we got UFC 309. Got a couple of flyweight fights on this card here. Eduardo Mora and Veronica Hardy. And then you got Viviane Araújo and Karine Silva. Now, neither one of these fights are really matchups that I'll say I wasn't looking forward to them or asking for them. I kind of feel like the UFC is really pushing this one to try to hype it up, but I don't think that many people are hype about this card, me included here. Like, even the WMMA fights aren't really like hype like that. Now, granted, these two fights could turn into some good fights, like entertaining wise. For Karine Silva, it means something because it's a step up for her. But I think just like style wise, I never really seen these two like on a collision course. I never really wanted to see them on a collision course, if that makes sense. Like, for me, I don't know. I just wanted to see Karine Silva in there with somebody that was gonna really push her. Maybe Araújo is gonna push her, but for me, it just don't seem like a really, really dangerous matchup for her. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it could be dangerous. Maybe it's just a fight that I'm not. I don't know. I just can't explain it. Every time I bring this fight up, I just can't explain it. Like, I don't really want to see this match. I just don't want to really see it that much. Maybe it feels like Kareem versus Aaron. Even like Araújo versus Jasmine, that would have been a good fight. If they rescheduled Jasmine versus Araújo, for some reason, that's a good fight. But this matchup here, I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't have that like hypeness for it. Yeah, yeah, easy. What's up, man? I'm not really excited about this card either. I'm like when I'm going through the matchups here, like it's not really that exciting. Even the main event's not like something I'm going crazy for here. What else? Even like this opener, this prelims opener, Eduardo Mora, Veronica Hardy. Shout out to Eduardo Mora for finally moving up. Since she wasn't making 115, she missed weight both times. But good. I'm good. I'm good on her. I'm glad that she is moving up now. So yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. But yeah, I know Two Beats wanted to get on and talk about this Shevchenko Fiorot situation that we have here. We've been talking about that one because it seems to kind of upset, I guess, Manon a little bit because behind the scenes negotiations hasn't really even started for it. And I believe, like she said, Manon said, when her team reached out to the UFC, they just kind of ignored her. I guess she wanted to kind of lock it in now and see what the deal was like with the fight. And that's kind of weird that the UFC would ignore her. Yeah, shout out to Axel. I know Axel said he's seen the interview already. I had just seen like a little clip of her, talking about Valentina, playing the UFC fight game and fighting her on the UFC fight game or whatever. But I haven't watched the full interview yet. But I know that was some of the understanding that she hasn't really been notified by the UFC, and they haven't really got back to her when she reached out to them about trying to see about making the fight, or when the UFC plans on making the fight. Now I know again Valentina is on vacation, but in the meantime, I thought behind the scenes that if Manon is already interested in the fight, that they would already kind of go ahead and answer some questions for her and say, okay, yeah, this is what we're going to do, and this is kind of what we plan on doing. But yeah, before we get into that, let me see here. Let me pull this UFC 309 card up, man. I am going to go live for the later part of the card, but I'm not going to be on too long for this one, y'all, because like I said, I'm not really excited about it myself. I won't be on for the prelims. That's a good time for me to go get dinner early, at 6 p.m., right? Because the card kicks off with Veronica Hardy and Eduardo Mora. So I'll watch the fight, but I won't be on for it. Sorry, y'all. I won't be on for that first fight. We will talk about it, or we can go back and do a little replay of it during my live when I'm on. But yeah, I won't be on for this whole card here. I'm just not hyped for it. I was a little bit more hyped for 300. I was. So let's see. This card kicks off at 6 p.m. Eastern time. First fight, Veronica Hardy versus Eduardo Mora. Then you got Basil Hafiz versus Oban Elliott, Mickey Gall and Ramiz. Marcin Tarbura versus Janata Denise. Okay. The prelims card. Dang, got a couple cancellations already. All right. David Onama, Roberto Romero, Jim Miller, Damon Jackson, Chris Weidman, Eric Anders, Jonathan Martinez, and Marcus McGee. And the main card, kick it off with a catchweight fight between Mauricio Ruffy versus James Leon Top. Then you got Viviano Arujo versus Kareem Silva, Bo Nickel, Paul Craig. Then the rematch between Oliveira, Michael Chandler, and of course John Jones and Stipe Miocic. Yeah, those are okay fights, but this ain't really like this major card that they're trying to push this thing as. Arujo and Kareem Silva, I'm surprised they got such a high spot on a pay-per-view card. I mean, are y'all surprised? I'm kind of surprised at that. Yeah, they do. They keep giving Vivi these fights easy. I don't know, man. Like it's crazy. That that what was that last fight she had? Was it Natalia Silva? Yeah, she's just been coming up short too. Like I'll hold off on that before I go crazy. Before I go crazy on talking about what her whole situation as far as her resume and how she's come up short. Let's start with the opener, man. Veronica Hardy and Eduardo Mora. Shout out to Veronica Hardy, man. I kind of like this new kind of revamped version of Veronica Hardy. I think again, it really shows that the chemistry between her and her husband Dan Hardy has really been paying off as far as her fight career. I think he's been building up confidence in her, and he's really been building her up as a good technical fighter. And that's probably one of the reasons why we've been seeing her just being moved along, not too fast. They're moving her. She's being moved along at a good pace right now. Maybe early in her career, she was pushed into certain fights and she wasn't really prepared for them, right? Because there was a point where I didn't even really know what weight she was going to be at. I thought she was going to be at like straw weight at one point. Then I think she was almost like at bantamweight. I didn't know she was going to be at full-time flyweight, but it seems like now that she's just kind of locked in now and married to somebody that's helping her in her career, because people always say when people get married, it kind of messes up their career. But I think it depends, man. I really do. I think it depends on the person that's in their corner. And it seems like Dan Hardy is giving her the right advice. And he's just like a really, not just like you see him doing the analyst work on PFL and so on, but he's really pushing her, I think, by showing her what she's doing wrong, probably watching tapes with her, going over tapes and just showing her how to perfect that striking style of hers. And it's paid off. That's why they just been going through the motions of fighting the right fights. They haven't really been rushing her into the rankings yet. I thought at this point she would be fighting a ranked fight, though. She did fight 3 good unranked fights, and each one she was getting better, I think. Now, her last fight that she lost was against Bea Malecki, and that's kind of where I was like, where's she going with her career now? That was like back in 2020. I didn't really know where she was going, but there's a big difference now. That's why I kind of have to put her on the map. Like, I'm not saying she's a threat, like on a triple threat list or anything like that, but I definitely think Veronica Hardy looks so much better than she did, like, say, 2018, 2017. What do y'all think? I mean, for sure, right? Veronica Hardy is definitely a different fighter than the one that fought Andrea Lee. I remember doing a video on that one before. I was just calling it like I saw it, man, because I just wasn't impressed with Veronica Hardy at the time. But I thought she was just going to be a fighter that was going to come and go, be in there for maybe like 3-4 fights and then be gone and then go back to Invicta or something. But I think with that time off from the Bea Malecki fight, come back against Juju, which, Juju, that wasn't really like a big test for her. That was still like a good period. That was like a 3-year layoff where she could get back in the mix. And she did. She came back, beat Juju easy, then fought Jamie Lynn Horst, showed some good skills in that fight. That fight was close, but I think when she stepped it up against JJ Aldridge, that was a pretty good showing for her. I think that was her best opponent. So now she's taking on Eduardo Moore. I think this here, should show us a little something, show us what we've been wanting to see, some more growth, see her ground skills if she's forced to use it against a big fighter. Yeah, Eduardo Moore at flyweight, I think she's going to really show that strength and size here. She's a good size flyweight. I think she's like 5'6", and always kind of massive looking, even at 115. So I think this is a legit fight for Veronica Hardy. Again, I would have liked to see one of the other flyweights that weren't ranked, maybe like Montana, Miranda. Those are good fights. Those would have been good fights for. I would have loved to see Miranda Maverick or Montana versus Veronica Hardy. Those would have been good fights, but I'm sure she'll take what they give her. She's taking on Saturday. But as far as how they do match up, I think, of course, experience goes to Veronica. I think Veronica's definitely got the better striking, better balance, and just overall control, like in the center of the cage. So that could be her main key to victory. I think her striking is solid. Her head kicks, straight left hands, just the way she moves. I think that when she fights at a good pace, Veronica Hardy, she's able to control the pace of a fight. You know, even against JJ Aldridge, a striker, you know, fellow striker, she was able to have that success. Eduardo Moore, on the other hand, you know, she's big and massive, but when I was watching her in that Denise Gomes fight, she was getting caught with some punches. You know, she was getting caught with a lot of punches, and I don't see her as like this big stiff fighter either. You know, she seems to be athletic. She seems to be able to move. I just think maybe it's her striking IQ. Like whoever her boxing coach is needs to kind of tighten her up to be a little bit more nimble, you know? So I think, you know, of course, Veronica, she's going to have the edge in the center. You know, she's going to have the edge in the center of the cage. You know, she moves and just keeps it at a good distance. Don't waste a lot of time in the clinch. You know, I think that's where she almost lost the fight against Jamie Lynn Horth. Eduardo Moore, for her, I think, you know, she can't spin round after round outside. She needs to protect her chin, and she's got to make this a good clinch fight. You know, she's got to be in there clinching Veronica Hardy, throwing these to the body and getting the fight to the ground. But yeah, her strength, I think at 125 is really going to show. You know, I think she's been having trouble making weight at 115, so this might be her home. You know, I was kind of thinking that maybe she was just being undisciplined, but looking at her size and how she looked at the weigh-in for 125, she looked decent. So maybe she just needs to kind of work on her skill sets and, you know, just balance it out so she can be at 125. But with that being said, man, I'm going to have to lean towards Veronica Hardy in this fight. I think with her skills and just her distance management and, you know, even her counter striking skills and her speed and just overall execution, I think Veronica Hardy should be able to win this fight. Now, she can't take her foot off the gas. I think she got to look for a finish. In this type of fight, man, because, you know, longer you let Eduardo Moore to stay in it, will take her down. You know, she's going to be looking to try to take her down. So hopefully, you know, Veronica Hardy's got the cardio for this fight, this particular type of fight. But yeah, when I look at the size too, even like the muscle, man, Eduardo Moore definitely going to have that physical advantage, you know, if he goes to the ground. Let me see. She's about 5'6". Still, you know, still young, 30 years old. Veronica Hardy, let's see, she is about 5'3", right? Let me guess. Yeah, 5'4", about 5'4". Only 29. Yeah. Veronica Hardy is young, man. Like her and Jillian Robertson, like the same age. That's what I'm saying. Like these young fighters, like her and Jillian Robertson, they still have time. They still have time to grow. Like they haven't even fully hit their prime yet. You know, at 29 years old, like. What year? Let me see. What year was she signed? Hold on. Veronica Hardy got signed to the UFC 2016. That was like, 8 years ago? So she was signed to the UFC when she was like 21. Let me see. 21 years old. She lost 3 fights in a row, right? Yep. So she actually, I mean, going off the resume, you could basically say she was signed too early. You know, she was signed way too early. Veronica Hardy was at 21 years old. And, you know, she got signed coming in off of a draw when she was still fighting for Inferno. Then she loses, you know, to Ashley Evans Smith, Andrea Lee, then Jillian Robertson, both two finishes. And she comes back and beats Poliana Viana. And after that, you know, she loses to Bea Malecki. And from there, you know, she goes on a little bit of a layoff. So in the meantime, you know, throughout her career, it's just been kind of up and down from, you know, 21 years old, 21, 22 years old, up till this point. There really wasn't much to gauge her off of. Like, you could see her here and there, but we knew that she wasn't really going to be like this it fighter at the time. But at 29 years old, she has a chance. You know, at 29 years old, she has a chance. So I'm gonna go with I think I'm gonna go with Hardy in this fight, man. Who do y'all got? I'm gonna go with Hardy. Who do y'all got? Y'all got Moore. Y'all think Moore gonna move up and dominate? Y'all think she gonna go up here and use this size advantage that she has? Yeah, she's a little bit. Yeah, she's actually older. So yeah, every time I forget Veronica Hardy, I keep thinking Veronica Hardy's almost like 32 or 33. But yeah, she's only 29, man. So she's still a young buck, her and Jillian. So I think that's a benefit to them too, because both Jillian and Veronica Hardy, though they were signed premature, well, Veronica was signed premature. They both are trying to get better. Like Veronica Hardy has more confidence than ever, I think. And like I said, I think Dan Hardy's been putting that confidence in her too. So because there was a time when she was feeling like, oh, I'm not ready for that yet. But he was looking at her skill set and say, yeah, you can get there. So I think this fight's going to be a win for her that will get her a ranked opponent. If she wins this fight, she deserves a ranked opponent. All right, Josh said he's got Hardy. Axel said I got Hardy. Okay, to be said, I think Mora might win, but I prefer Veronica. I'm enjoying the improvements. Marcus said I got Hardy. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Veronica Hardy in this one. I just saw too many mistakes in that Denise Gomes fight. And to me, if Denise Gomes was kind of baffling her and lighting her up a little bit, I think Veronica Hardy should be able to do this. Honestly, I won't be disappointed if Veronica Hardy doesn't get a stoppage, but I think like a stoppage or a knockout, like a head kick, could be there for Veronica Hardy. I think she needs that win too. I think she needs that knockout win to get a ranked opponent at this point. So hopefully she goes in there and does it. Mark said Hardy, 6 said Hardy. Or no, 6 said Mar. Okay, Mar. James said Mar. Okay. 6 said in this fight size will matter. I don't think so. I think size only matters if you know how to use it. And in this fight, I think that Veronica Hardy, I think her striking and her movement will be a problem for Mara. Like, if anything, Mara's size should have been a problem at 115, even against Denise Gomes, Josh said Hardy was picking apart Lynn Horth on the feet. Yeah. I just think that Hardy can't take rounds off. She can't take any rounds off. Axel said, what are Veronica and Mara's size? Yeah, Veronica Hardy's she's 5'4", and Mara's 5'6". So about 2-inch height difference. But yeah, you definitely see the size. But I think Veronica Hardy knows how to use her size a little bit more, and she's faster and better on her feet. I even think that maybe her scrambles will be good here. I wouldn't be surprised. 6 I still question Mara's cardio though. Yeah, I think the cardio could be a problem. I actually thought she looked decent at this weigh-in compared to the 115s. He said he's gonna go with Hardy. Okay, he's gonna go Hardy. Josh said Veronica Hardy reminds me of DC, smaller than others in the class, but can still hold her own. Yeah. And I think that all comes with knowing your body and knowing how to use it. Same with DC. DC, big boy as far as weight, but I mean, whenever he's lacking in height, he knows how to throw them hands, in the inside and get a little rough and dirty because he's right there at their chest, so he be throwing shots where they don't expect it. So I think same thing can be said of Veronica Hardy. She knows her body, knows how to move. She can kind of frustrate somebody, this big and is not really like trained with the hands like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Hardy though. All right. Veronica Hardy. I went 3-0. Oh yeah, I went 3-0 last weekend. Not even really like going into pick on those fights, but I just like, yeah, I'll go with that. All right. Let's check this out, man. Viviana Araujo versus Karine Silva. This is the ranked flyweight fight. We got the number 11 Karine Silva, right? And going up, we have Viviana Araujo at number 9. Going back to what you said earlier, Easy E, man. Yeah, Viviana Araujo is still getting fights. She is, if this was the boxing world, and with the number of ranked fighters that Viviana Araujo lost to, you would have to fight some unranked people at this point. You know what I mean? Like they would throw you in there with some unranked fighters. Like you would need some tune-ups to test your skills to see where you at. And if it ain't popping, then they're gonna have to say, hey, you gonna be pushed to the side, or you getting pushed out of the rankings for now. So I think somebody like Arujo, she has been getting a lot of ranked fights because of the way she's ranked. But man, with each one, she's just been kind of disappointing me, man. Like she's just been disappointing me, man. And I'm picking her in these fights. Like I was crazy enough. Well, I won't say I was crazy enough. At the time, I did pick her to beat Alexa Grasso. That was 2 years ago. So I did pick her to beat Alexa Grasso. I picked her to beat Caitlin Chikagian, Andrea Lee, and Amanda Ebas. And she only came through with one fight and almost got knocked out in that fight. Remember, she got buzzed bad by Andrea Lee? That was the one fight I picked against her out of those 4 fights. Last really dominant win she had. Y'all wanna know which fight she won? That was the most convincing. Do y'all remember her last convincing fight? Convincing win? Do y'all remember that? Let me see if y'all remember. Without looking at the resume. What was the last win that Viviane Araújo looked that was very convincing? Josh said Andrea Lee. Nope, not Andrea Lee. She won that fight now, but there was a scary moment in that. Not that one. Without looking at her resume. Take a guess. Take a guess. If you can't guess in 5 seconds, I'll give it to you because, Gary Baldwin said Montana. Close. Marcus said, please don't tell me Montana De La Rosa. No, close. It was Roxanne. Y'all was off by 1 fight. It was Roxanne Modafferi. That was her last really convincing win. And that was after the Montana fight. Yep. I remember seeing her for the first time. Of course, what was that? That Toledo Bernardo fight. And she landed that big knockout punch and everybody went crazy for her. And then I remember watching the Alexis Davis fight when she went down to 125. And I was like, okay, I like this girl's movement. I like her style. But then when she stepped in there with Jessica Eye and she lost to Jessica Eye, that's where I kind of started questioning. I was like, what's going on here? Like, Gary said Roxanne got a knockdown in that fight. Did she? I got to go back and look at that. She knocked her down. Roxanne knocked Viviane Araújo down. I'm trying to think. Did she? We got to go back and watch that fight. Well, I got to. Josh said then again, Roxy beat Macy, so who knows? She might have got a knockdown in that fight, but that was probably her most convincing win of lately. Because Jennifer Maia, that fight wasn't a convincing win. I thought Jennifer Maia won that fight, and every other fight since then was been been her losing. And what's sad is, look, Viviane Araújo is a tough fighter. She's tough. She's durable. Pretty good chin, And if she polished up her striking, I think she'd be a fighter that really wouldn't be able to get countered too much because she is fast. Like if she worked on her like speed in the right areas and like her fast twitch muscles in the right area and her timing, she could be, what she could have been. I'll say could have been now because 37. It's hard to do that now. Hard to make changes. But if she had done this before, even at 37, she would still be quicker than a lot of girls. And with the way she would throw her punches, she could get in some quick counters and knock more people out. But ever since that fight against Toledo Bernardo, she hadn't knocked anybody out. That's another little fun fact I'm sure a lot of people forget, Yeah, she hasn't knocked anybody out. It's been that long, And I think it all comes down to how her style is, man. I'm just being real. Like, I ain't putting the fighter down because I like Araújo. I'm just going by the resume and how fights are executed. Because if you're coming up short, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. And I think, man, like Arujo, like Macy Barber, she's got a lot of natural gifts too, like her speed. That girl is strong. And again, like with the way she moved, she could have been able to do a hit and not get hit type of style like Valentina. Like I think she had that in her as far as like athleticism and just her movement. Like again, that fast twitch about her. Instead, she just kind of uses it in a more unorthodox way, which really didn't pay off in her career, if you know what I mean. Like, just a lot of unnecessary movement in there, a lot of bouncing around and just movement in the legs. Like she was doing a lot of that early. I was kind of gassing her out. But had she maybe used it more for takedowns and wrestling, like Valentina, or, even like setting up counters like Valentina, fighting more in like spurts, I think, man, she could have been something, man. She could have been, yeah, like, because look at her, man. Like when you see her in there, like she don't really get hurt that much. She only get hurt because of the recklessness, man. Like the Roxy fight you talking about when she got dropped. Okay, she got dropped by Roxy. It probably came from recklessness. I got to go back and look at that. But even the Andrea Lee shot she got hit with, But if she would have been more technically sound, if they had maybe gotten her like the right boxing coach, Muay Thai coach, and so on. I mean, she's a black belt in BJJ too. That's why it's kind of hard for me to see her getting submitted by Karine Silva. She has a lot going for her, and her power is there. It just hasn't really been used right. Just hasn't really been used right in a lot of her fights. Let me see up here. Somebody new. What's up, Crazy Pato? Crazy Pato. He said Manon deserved the title shot way before Alexa got a title shot in the first place. Yeah, she did, but she had torn her ligament. Yeah, she had torn her ligament after that Chikagan fight, so that had put her out like for a year. And in the meantime, Alexa Grasso did step it up. So I give Alexa Grasso some credit on that, man. She did go ahead and take the fight to end up. So yeah, I mean that's the thing I always got to explain to people, because everybody keep thinking that she didn't want to fight. I'm like, no, she torn her ligament. People tear ligaments. Macy Barber did. Alexa Grasso tore one after the Macy Barber fight. Kept her out a year. Same deal here. So if she's out, that means you can't fight. You need another fight. So yeah, in that manner, yeah, she did get it first, but she had to come back and do it again by fighting Aaron. But yeah, Arujo, man, I think, yeah, with the right people, she could have been something. Had her style been a little more polished, I would have loved to seen her fight Valentina. I would have loved to seen that type of fight if she could have got to a good point where, she was more technically sharp. But right now, she just fighting to stay in. She is just really fighting to stay in here. Karine Silva, I know Karine Silva, a lot of people are thinking Karine Silva is not as scary anymore since she came up short against, well, I won't even say came up short. She came up short as far as a finish against Ariane Lipsky, right? Real quick, Josh said Arujo reminds me of Marina, same type of skill set, lacks fighting logic. I agree with that. I would say Marina Rodriguez is more technically sound with her striking, though. Like Marina can still win a fight on the feet comfortably, I believe, as long as she don't get taken down. Like I have more confidence in her striking than I do Arujo's. Like Arujo, she got outworked by Jessica I and Chikagan, but I know what you mean. She likes to fight logic. Like she won't make adjustments. She won't adapt in there. She don't adapt. So that's been her downfall. Even behind the scenes, like, okay, for Marina, time to step it up, man. Go ahead and start working on the ground. Work on your takedown defense, but she won't do that. I just don't get it. But yeah, Karine got a decision against Ariane Lipsky. She didn't get the finish. That still doesn't make me think she's a bad fighter. It doesn't make me think she's overrated either. I think that, once you fight better fighters, the finishes stop coming. It's as simple as that. I just think that Karine Silva maybe showed a lot of respect to Lipsky in that fight, but the same can be said with Lipsky. Lipsky looked showing her a lot of respect. And that's just how it came. That's what it came down to. That's just how it is. I still think Karine Silva has a lot to offer. I think she still has been getting better as a fighter as far as how she moves and how she's letting her hands go now. She's connecting more with her kicks. So I think, Karine Silva definitely has a good chance in this fight too. I think she's got power, and if she's able to pick up those pieces that our Rujo refuses to, as far as become technically sound with the hands, our Rujo might be getting lit up in here. Once Karine Silva maybe adapts to that speed, if Karine Silva starts shooting the straight jab or, throwing that right hand like she had and, that left hook like she did in the Marina Moreau fight, she dropped Marina Moreau, that type of work on the feet might frustrate Arujo. It's not look, Arujo got the speed and she got, like I said, I can't really say like the power because she ain't knocked nobody out in like 5 years, but Karine Silva definitely got, Karine Silva, she definitely got an opportunity here to outstrike Arujo because Arujo been outstruck before many times, So it's not gonna be impossible here for the grappler Karine Silva to outstrike Arujo, as long as she's tightening up her striking. I definitely favor Karine Silva if it goes to the ground. I think Karine Silva's definitely got the better jiu-jitsu, of course, better, killer instinct when it comes to submissions. I think Arujo kind of looks more for wrestling sometimes and position over submission. Because even though she got the black belt, how many people has she submitted? Let me see. She ain't submit nobody in the UFC. Let me double check my statement there. Nope. I was right. Yeah. I don't remember submitting nobody, right? She hasn't submitted anybody. So that's something that Arujo gonna have to look out for. I know Arujo kind of looks at takedown and hold and defend sometimes, but Karine Silva's gonna see some opportunities here, man. Karine Silva's gonna see some opportunities. So she could very much well become the first submission. This could be her submission loss here for Arujo. I think Arujo's got to throw some overhand rights. She got to throw some overhand rights in this fight. She got to throw them leg kicks. Throw some, I won't say, too many body kicks so she won't get taken down here, but she got to keep her guard tight for Arujo. Keep her guard tight. Look to counter. Don't waste energy, throwing a lot of shots. Cage wrestle only if necessary. And just kind of pace herself. I think Karine, though, man, Karine need to use her timing. Go ahead and start breaking Arujo down, wearing her down, and take the fight to the ground early. And the earlier she gets it down, I think she could get that submission win. I'm gonna go with Karine Silva though. Not really a fight, like I said, I'm wanting, but what are you gonna do? It might turn out to be good because they're both good fighters. Well, Arujo's decent. Silva's a good fighter though. I'm gonna go with Karine Silva for sure. I think even a decision for her. I think she might get this one by decision. She might even, like I said, she might even outwork Arujo in this one. What y'all think? What do y'all think? All right, James says Silva. Josh says Silva. Lolita says Silva. Okay, all right. Anybody gonna pick Arujo? Come on, man. Marcus, I'm putting Arujo on the back burner and picking Silva. Dang, man, I feel. What? Like I said, I feel bad for Arujo, but it's our own. Hey, it's you. You in the UFC. You got the shot. You know what to do. I like to train a fighter like Arujo too, man. I would train somebody like her. Let me see. Six said they traded like this is Super Bowl. Lolita said Silva's the most common surname in Brazil. Hold on, what I'm looking for these picks here. Okay, Axel said I got Silva. Six said he got okay. Six got Arujo. He trying to be different. Okay, Easy E said it's Silva, the second best Silva. Yeah, you know what it is. The second best Silva. We all know that we all who number one Silva is right now, pound for pound. Gary says Silva. Lolita said, oh, hold on. He said that. Mark said, but Arujo might end up surprising us. She might. She know her career is on the line. She could. Like I definitely ain't saying this is an easy win. This ain't no 30-27, and this ain't no, like easy submission win. To be said, the Silva's girl get another W is my prediction. Yep. Yeah. I think so. I think she'll get this one. Again, I'm not going in expecting submission or finish here because Arujo does have that. She does have that going for her. She ain't finished nobody. You know, she ain't been finished by anybody. Excuse me. All right, y'all. So with that being said, if I could send the link out here, Two Beasts, did you want to hold on? I know Two Beasts wants to get on here. I can't even remember the exact phrasing of his question that he had last time, or I know he wanted to get on here because that was what, Monday, right? And I was just getting back from a little vacation time. I think I have your email. Hold on. Dang, time be going by fast. I know TBS is waiting for this time, but I had to get the picks in for now. All right, I sent you a link right there, 2B. So whenever you're ready, it's there. In the meantime, let me see. Oh, that card already started, didn't it? Let me see that Jake Paul Tyson mess. I'm not even trying to see the rest of this crap. I'm trying to see the. Gary said he got Silva by split decision. Okay. Yeah, styles make fights, and this could be that type of style because again, the the style of Arujo, her being a black belt, she's able to defend submissions, and she's physically strong. Roxy couldn't submit her. Of course, Roxy, she's got good jiu-jitsu, but she couldn't really get her down and dominate. So maybe that physical strength will come into play here. And her striking is good. It's good to a level where she can put some combinations together. So this fight's going to answer some questions on how well Karine Silva's defense and how well she's able to deflect a few shots, block a few shots. Will she eat some? I want to see how she reacts to taking some because I know Grasso, she got hit with a couple of Arujo punches too. I believe Arujo kind of rocked Grasso too in that fight at one point. Put a knot on Grasso's head too. So we'll see how Karine Silva reacts to that. To be said, can you text it? Okay, hold on. Well, yeah, let me text it to you. Hold on. Well, I'm not on my phone. I'll put it here in the link. Hold on. I'll put it here in the link, 2B. So hold on just a second. That's what I usually do anyway. Josh Arujo got Grasso a title shot. Alexa Grasso getting the title shot fighting Kansas lucky compared to Manone's resume. Josh said, well, again, she got that fight. I don't really think. Let me see. Grasso, her resume might not have been as good as Manone's or Aaron's, but she has decent fights. I believe. Who'd she fight? Macy. Well, I would say her toughest fight was Macy and Arujo. Those are okay. They were all right. They were okay. But yeah, who else did she beat? Jin Kim and JoJo. I'm still trying to think what she had beat. Do you think she could have beat Andrade? Do you think she could have? You think she could have beat Andrade at that time? I'm sure, right? Grasso could have. Or what if she had to fight Tyler Santos? Like, what if Grasso had to fight Tyler Santos with Valentina? Do y'all think she could have won that fight? Zama said Grasso got hit a lot in that. Oh, in the RO fight? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because I remember calling that fight. I was telling y'all, like, those rounds were close. Even when I was watching it then, like, see, y'all were hung up on Grasso era. Y'all just want to say Grasso was, oh, y'all weren't really watching it. I was watching it. She had a big old, I remember Arujo put that knot on her head too. And she kind of rocked her. I can't remember what round it was. It was like round 3 or 4, but Arujo did kind of stun Grasso with a good right hand. And then she did have that little redness knot right there. I was like, oh, okay. But, again, Grasso just being the more technically sound fighter, she made adjustments and she figured out Arujo's style and took it on home. And I picked Arujo in that fight. I picked Arujo to win that fight. But, Grasso, I think she won what every round? What was it, 4 rounds to 1 or something like that? I think it was. Yep. Oh, here we go. Okay, y'all. So I got 2 beasts in the building here. And let me just fix something real quick. All right, where are we at? I'm just kind of messing with something here. All right, y'all, got 2 beasts in the building. Let me check your audio. You there, 2 beasts?
Can you hear me all
right? Just a little bit. Can you turn up just a little?
How about now? Is it sounding better or?
All right, can y'all hear him? Let me know if y'all can hear him.
Because I don't know how these headphones are sounding right now.
Okay, you're good. You're good. I can hear you.
Okay. What's up, Josh?
Loud and clear. So what's up, 2 Beasts? What you got, man? What's on your mind, man?
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me on. Sincerely appreciate you.
Oh, no problem.
And just like the name 2 Beasts, is really like 2 specific things I want to hit on about the topic of the whole Valentina Shevchenko, quote unquote, avoiding Manone and not acknowledging Manone and all this, that, and the other. And it really to me comes down to 2 words, right? That's my whole thing, right? The number 2. It's 2 words that really sum this all up. The first one is acknowledge, right? People were saying that Valentina should acknowledge Manone as the number 1 contender. They're saying that she hasn't spoken of Manone. She hasn't been voicing her, she hasn't essentially said, yeah, I'm fighting Manone next. She's going to be the one next. And people feel as though Valentina should be doing that, right? And then the other thing that some people are even saying is going far to say that she's actually avoiding Manone. And the 2 words that I really want to focus on is the first one is acknowledge, right? Now, I was having a debate with I think it was Robot Chicken Wings, and basically whenever I speak on anything, I go based off of what the dictionary definition of whatever word is, right? And I had said like, yo, what do you mean she hasn't acknowledged it? And then words to this effect, Robot Chicken Wings was essentially saying he brought up the what was it? It was a comment about someone sent in a comment about Manon or Valentina calling her the ill-mannered first grader or whatever, and said Val doesn't deserve to do that. She's the one who's been acting like a child, not acknowledging Manon. Words to this effect, right? So then I'm like, okay, this is nothing new. Val does not, call out opponents next fight. I'll fight anyone. I'll fight anyone. I'm ready to fight anyone. That's her MO since day one, since she's been champion. And it leads me to the second word that I want to, focus on, which is anyone, right? The word anyone. The word anyone essentially means any person or people, right? We understand that. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but last time I checked, Manon is a female fighter and she's a person. And thus, I mean, she qualifies under the category of anyone. So when Val says, I'll fight anyone, I mean, Manon's included in that. So I think what the problem is people think that when you say anyone and you don't specifically say, oh, I'm gonna fight that person, automatically it means, oh, I'm avoiding them or I'm avoiding that fight. But at the end of the day, who can prove that a contract has been offered? Who can prove, you know what I'm saying, that talks were actually made and this, that, and other? According to what people are saying now is like Manon apparently hasn't even heard anything from UFC in regards to negotiations. So how is it that Valentina can be like avoiding this like fight that's been offered to her? Because in order for a fight to be offered, they have to be in negotiation with each other. So apparently UFC isn't even negotiating with Manon right now. Not like it just doesn't make sense to me. And then when you talk about the word acknowledgement, it just means to admit the truth or existence of something. Okay. People say that she didn't acknowledge Manon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I found a video, literally one of the post-fight little mini interviews with Megan O'Leary, I think it was, where she literally says, I know Manon has been waiting forever. And then she goes on to say, I don't think people want to see a fourth fight with me and Grasso. So essentially, Megan asked her, what's next? What are you trying to do? And then she goes on to say that. And she also goes on to say, I'm ready to fight anyone. Said it like 2-3 times in that answer to that question. And I go back to the definition of anyone. So it's like, not only did she acknowledge that Manon has been waiting in line, which people said she never even brought up Manon, she never acknowledged her, so that's not true. But what I will say for Robot Chicken Wings, he said, essentially, he has a different meaning of what he meant in terms of acknowledgement. He said, when I say acknowledgement, I mean you say this is the person's name and this is who I'm fighting, blah, 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 blah. I was personally just going off of the book, the dictionary definition.
Shout out to Robot Chicken Wings. Where you at, Robot?
I don't see him in the comments right now. It's just mainly James and Josh, Lolita, Zaman.
What's up, Gunner
Roberts. But yeah, and then the other thing about avoiding Manon is just like, who is Amanda Nunes? Like, people forget that Valentina arguably beat her in the second fight. So you get close enough, you get close to beating the consensus GOAT, but then all of a sudden you're scared to fight Manon. Like that logic just doesn't add up to me. If you ask me who I'd be rather trapped in a room with, I'll take my chances with Manon as opposed to Amanda. I'm just saying, like, to me, that seems like an easier fight. Amanda Nunes knocked out and stopped the majority of the people on her run. Manon has only two stoppages out of like 7 fights in the UFC. So it's like, who would you rather be faced with, the danger of Amanda Nunes or the danger of Manon?
Shoot, man, that's scary, boy. Shoot, Kat Zingano may have beaten her, but she walked away with something from that fight. That'll tell you how scary she is. All right, let me ask you this though. When we're going back to the anyone thing, so when and to me, this goes across the board for all champions. Like, I really don't see champions being scared of anybody. I don't really see fighters being scared of anybody, period. I think sometimes fighters look at certain situations where certain opportunities could be taken if they were to lose, like, but I don't think anybody's ever like physically scared of somebody. Like, I don't think Valentina's physically scared, or I don't even think that's the situation here. But let's say if when John Jones, let's say when he says he'll fight anyone at heavyweight and he doesn't say Tom Aspinall, does he get the same pass though?
No, and I'm glad you brought up John Jones. I encourage so many people to watch John Jones's interview with, I think his name's Kevin Iole. I might be getting the first name wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
He blatantly said, after Kevin Iole said, "Will you fight him?" his exact words, I believe, was probably not. Now,
okay, yeah, that's different. Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? I don't have the longest history. We're talking about what, like, I think 2020 maybe, when I started watching MMA. John Jones, for the most part, 95% is before my time, right? And I only have the last 3 years essentially, and all I heard from the community of the MMA is he didn't fight Francis, and now he's not fighting Tom. So not only do you have him literally saying he won't fight Tom, but there was also the accusations of the Francis Ngannou duck situation, right? So you have a repeat, quote unquote, duck offender, right? In some people's eyes. And then now you also have him on a video saying, "I probably won't fight him. I'm not." He said words to this effect. This isn't an exact quote, but he said, "Why would I gamble someone potentially making a name off of me when I'm not going to essentially get anything in return?" is his stance. You feel me? So, and I don't necessarily blame John Jones, but at the same time, this is a situation where I won't go above and beyond to try to advocate or try to argue against people calling him a duck. I'm just not motivated to do that in that scenario. And the reason why I pointed to the John Jones scenario when people were saying Valentina's avoiding Manon, I'm like, you have a perfect example in front of you of a fighter avoiding another fighter, and you have the nerve to say that Val's avoiding Manon. Like, I don't see the logic in that. She's fought Amanda. She's fought at bantamweight. She wasn't even cutting weight to fight at bantamweight, essentially. And it's like, now all of a sudden, because she lost to Grasso, think about it like this. What's more embarrassing? Losing to Grasso or losing to Manon? People forget she could have went into the third fight with Grasso and got subbed all of a sudden, or got beat or whatever. And a lot of people thought that Grasso didn't stand a chance. Most people think Manon stands a great chance. So what's more embarrassing, losing to Grasso a third time or what? I mean, Valentina avidly wanted to get back at Grasso. You feel what I'm saying? So what that tells me is that's a higher risk of embarrassment than potentially, oh my God, I might lose to Manon. You feel what I'm saying? She could have waited for Grasso to maybe fight Aaron and then come back, or no, she specifically wanted to go back and fight Grasso because she believed she won in the second fight. So it just doesn't add up to me when someone says I'll fight anyone has fought whoever the UFC put in front of her since day one, and also since day one consistently said, doesn't matter, I'll fight anyone. I don't pick and choose my opponents. This has been her MO since day one. So all of a sudden saying she's afraid of someone, that she's avoiding someone, and then the whole acknowledgement thing is debunked in the first place. Like, she literally said, I know Manon's been waiting.
Okay.
And to argue what Robot Chicken Wings was saying.
Oh, he's in the building now.
Oh, okay, awesome. To argue what he was saying, what he had said basically was she jokingly laughed about it. That's not an acknowledgement. I personally believe, I can't prove it, but this is my counter argument, that she was laughing because of the whole Grasso situation, because that's what she led into after that. She laughingly said, I know Monone's been waiting for a long time, but I think that people are ready to move on from the fourth fight. That's kind of what she led into after she said that laughingly. So I'm assuming she was laughing in a sense of, man, this Grasso situation is taking forever to be over with. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I can't prove that, but that's my counter argument.
Okay.
But I mean,
go ahead.
It is what it is, man.
Okay. Hey, I agree with a lot of things you said here. I think my thing here is, like, first of all, I say, yeah, Valentina, no, not at all. I don't believe at all she's avoiding Manon. I don't think she's ducking her 100%. I don't think she's ducking her at all. Like, when you got names like Amanda, Juliana Pena, Holly Holm, you got all of these big bantamweights on your resume, and you beat some of these flyweights in the most dominant fashion. I don't think, like, at all she's ever trying to avoid a fight. My thing is, it kind of goes back to what we discussed last time, like going back to the whole call out thing. Like, my thing is, you own the division, the majority of the birth of flyweight, all right? And at that time, people, they acknowledge her as the best flyweight, best champion of all time. But at the same time, they were always kind of knocking the resume, saying, okay, she hadn't fought the toughest people, even though she was fighting everybody. Valentina beat everybody that was given to her. But now you kind of got a new era where you got fighters like Grasso who gave her a hard time. She come back, beat her, 2-time champion. Now you got another fighter that's kind of chasing you. I think it comes down to people wanting to hear you mention the name more so, not to prove that you're the best, because you already got that MO as the best flyweight, in WMMA. But the time you have a chance to build yourself up and maybe even build up, a big WMMA fight like Whaley and Joanna did, you kind of missed that opportunity again by taking the bait from Ariel Helwani when he throw another name in the mix. That, I think that's what kind of gets some people under. I think that's what kind of gets some people, gets them irritated. You know what I mean? That's what kind of gets me irritated, because now you have the chance to have it's like you had a bunch of decent movies. You an actress, you got a bunch of decent movies, right? But now you got the potential to make a blockbuster. But now you just like, oh, I'll do any movie. So you're like, okay, which one you going to do? You going to do this one? We want to see you do this one so you can promote it. We can all be
you know what's so screwed up about that, though, right? Credit to Valentina for not allowing him to push that narrative into her response. Because check this out. This is the MO of a typical journalist, quote unquote, right? So I'm gonna just give a random example. So essentially, you're thinking that a fight with such and such is probably the biggest fight. So you would agree that this is definitely a great fight for you, right? This loaded question with a specific narrative that's trying to be pushed, correct? Yeah. And then they're just like, yeah. And then as soon as they say that, boom, the headline is, she wants this super fight with da-da-da-da. That's essentially what happened with the Ariel situation. To answer Axel 971's question, why Valentina is jumping on a Whaley fight. She is not jumping on a Whaley fight. That is what Ariel wants you to believe, due to the title of that video. He used very specific wording that isn't false, but at the same time puts people's attention to a very specific topic, which is Whaley fight. That was the goal of that. It's just basic marketing. I put Weili's name in the title. The video gets more clicks and impressions on YouTube. That it's basic marketing, basic algorithm structure. It's every freaking journalist does this. What sucks is that Valentina actually, I personally believe, did very well in sticking to her personal guns, which is I fight anyone, I don't pick and choose opponents. She did the exact same thing here, but ultimately it kind of backfired in some of the people's minds in the MMA community because they're like, oh, why is she open to this Weili fight? She's always been open to any fight, but it's not like she's gonna go and say I'm fighting Manon next, because she doesn't pick fights. As champion, the only time she calls people out is when they're the champion. is very consistent with her. So it sucks that her consistency is actually now backfiring on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because as soon as she said Weili's name, like it don't even have to be like her acknowledging it, but if she could just throw it in there, that's all he wanted. As soon as he heard it, he was like, oh yeah, I got it now. That's my headline. And you see it now, like in the thumbnail. That's all he mentioned. He didn't even mention the real title defense at flyweight. All he said was, oh yeah, Zhang Weili, got the name. Now I can put that in there. So yeah, again, journalists, they know how to do that. You know, they throw it in there. So knowing her character, he knew how to kind of play it against her, you know? So
yeah, man.
With that, I think it just all comes down to how it was presented to him. I don't think Valentina's really at fault at anything here. But at the same time, I understand where Manon is coming from too. Like, if Manon is kind of reaching out to the UFC, this kind of goes into the UFC thing because she went to the extent of saying her team has reached out and tried to contact them and they haven't really contacted her back. It's kind of like you would get frustrated. And I think, again, it goes in hand. Like when I tell you, like a fighter says, I want a particular fight, the UFC, they will give it to you. And sometimes, for someone to always just say, I'll fight anyone, you could get anyone. And yeah, it sounds good, but it's nice to know a name too, because the fans, they want to get behind something. Like I like it. Look, I do like it because it makes you sound tough, but when people know that there's only like one person on the block right now, they want to just go ahead and hear you acknowledge the name. Because look, I know Valentina's proven. It's not about proving at this point, but I thought for her it's more about making the money now and just trying to be in a good position.
Now, it's funny, it's interesting that you mentioned the fans, right? That when the fans know that the person next in line is such and such, right? Here's the funny thing about fans. This is why I praise Valentina for her consistency, is because as soon as Val says, oh, I'm going to fight this person, there's going to be an asylum of fans who are all of a sudden like, oh, why is she picking this fight and not that fight? She's picking the easier fight. They're then gonna find a narrative.
I don't think it'll be like that with this one though.
Really, well, obviously with Manon, but that's the whole thing. Like, you can't win with fans. Like, we're our own worst enemies. Like, a lot of times fans will complain about how things suck, but we play a part in it. When you do things like this, all of a sudden this champion, now two-time champion, that has been consistently at the top. And all of a sudden now it's just like, soon as a scary big old Manon comes around, oh, Val's doing everything in her power to avoid that. Like, nah, bro. Like, who is Amanda Nunes, bro? Like, it just drives me nuts when we play a part in, like, UFC on its own does enough nonsense, if you get what I'm saying. We don't need to add into that by spreading these narratives around about fighters being scared. You feel what I'm saying? I don't even think John Jones is scared of Tom Aspin. It's just hard for someone to win like 20 plus UFC fights and be scared of something. I think he does want the business move, but at the same time, I'm not gonna call any fan out if they say he's ducking Aspinall. I will not do that. But even John Jones, I just don't buy into the narrative that people are scared of other fighters. So it's like when you start using those keywords like avoiding, not acknowledging, you feel what I'm saying? It's just like, I feel like we're too late in the game with someone like Valentina to all of a sudden question her dog, so to speak, or question her confidence and her. If you hate Valentina, I definitely will not. I will not battle with you on that. There's numbers literally proving that, her interest is lacking in certain areas, but don't spread false narratives just because you don't like a fighter. Like if I tell you I don't like someone like how what's it called? What's her name? Yana Kunitskaya. I forget what she changed her name to.
Oh, Santos.
I could tell you, I don't like her fighting style because a lot of times she finds herself pushing people up against the cage. I'm not gonna then all of a sudden spread a narrative and be like, man, listen, this girl, she's scared to fight people. Da 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 da. It's a smart strategy. I just don't like it. I'm not gonna spread a rumor saying, oh, she was scared because she got dropped in sparring one time, and or a false narrative. Like, no, she just has a style I don't like. In the story, she's improved it over time, especially in like her last fight. But you don't spread a false narrative just because you don't like someone. You feel what I'm saying? All this idea of now, Garrett, if you wanted her to acknowledge her, I get it. I get the importance of that. But this is what she's done since day one, which isn't necessarily all that disrespectful in my opinion, because there's nothing in her contract saying that she has to acknowledge a next opponent, that she has to call someone out. You feel what I'm saying? She doesn't have to acknowledge anyone as the champion, that in my opinion, until a contract is signed. And then she could be like, yeah, my next opponent is this. I feel like she has these strengths. I feel like I can beat her here. And then we could start talking, but that's her MO. Granted, this is why she might be lacking in certain points, like people have pointed out in terms of like her interest in this, that, and other. But at least she's consistent. And it's not like a Connor thing where he goes out of his way to insult a person. Like, are we really going to say she's as bad as Connor? Like, bro, she just doesn't name drop and talk about people before a contract sign. It's not necessarily the end of the world. I mean, if you want an example of avoiding, look at the John Jones situation. Don't bring that over to women's MMA. That's not what's happening with Valentina.
All right. So I hope you got a chance to hear all that, Robot Chicken. I know you came in kind of late, but yeah, I mean, look, I do agree. I definitely agree, because I think it just comes down to, a title contender ready to go, and they just feel like they're not getting that recognition right now that they are the top contender. Especially when you throw in another name from another division that right now, so I think that's just where the frustration comes in for the fighter. But yeah, I think what you say?
I was gonna say Axel asked a great question.
Okay.
The real question is why the Manon Valentina fight is not even planned by the UFC. Selfishly, and an uneducated answer would be for me to say because they always be BSing and just not doing what they need to freaking do when the fans really want something. But no, and realistically, Val said she was injured or healing from an injury, accumulation of a variety of different injuries. She said it was neck related in the Ariel Helwani interview.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why she's doing the extended vacate thing. She said it doesn't necessarily need surgery, but it needs to heal, so to speak. And then Val has always been twice a year kind of thing, 6 months in between. You feel what I'm saying? So we're far off from that 6 month mark. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not like, this is out of the ordinary per se for her. So that's the other thing that we got to take into account first to why UFC hasn't booked it. And then even if they were to announce it, they'd be announcing a fight that's probably at least 3-4 months out, bare minimum, because they got so many things lined up already for February and January, I assume. And then the other thing too, speaking of the whole scheduling thing, what was it? There was something I wanted. Chime in. I'll think of it later, but there was something with Val being scheduled. I couldn't remember. It was a point I wanted to make.
Shoot, dang, her and Grasso are gonna be out for a little while then too.
Yeah, Grasso got a broken leg. That's all bad.
Mm-hmm. So with both of them out, that's going to kind of leave. Yeah. So I think we can safely say Manone's probably won't come back until like, let's say May. Then April or May.
Yeah, that's man. Not now. My silver plans are messed up, man. Like I was hoping to, hopefully, just that they'll book her and Grasso, and now that's out the door. And then so we'd be waiting on Aaron potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Aaron and Silva can fight next year, early next year.
It was September that they fought, so December would be 3 months.
Let me see. Axel asked you a question. He said in December it would already be 4 months. Yeah, they can announce the fight now, make the fight happen in February or March. Okay. Yeah, I think that it just comes down to even like
I remember
what they talk about behind the scenes, like from Manone. She's probably bringing that to light now because she's saying that they're not really even talking to them right now. They're not even answering, but maybe if they had already like signed something and she knows everything.
Yeah, she want that closure, right? She wants to know for sure.
Like it don't have to be promotion now, but she wants the closure now. So she's probably just trying to let her fans know, like, hey, I'm asking for it, but hey, she's probably like your girl over here holding us up. She might just be saying something like that to make it a little more interesting.
Now, here's what I want to say about the last thing I want to say about the whole Val situation, with as opposed to Manon.
Mm-hmm.
People think that Val might be trying to chase that money fight with Wei Lee, right? And they think that UFC, I think Six McLovinics, he specifically says that the UFC wants that payday with Val and Wei Lee, but do they really? Because Valentina has been the queen of co-main events for the longest time. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't think UFC necessarily has this huge urgency for Val to be on a main event in China per se, and this, that, like, I just don't see it. Like, she's been the co-main for almost every single title fight that she's been in.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, I don't think on UFC's end, it's like, oh, we got to get this Wei Lee fight. We want this, money fight. Because they've been very content with their champion being the co-main every freaking card. I don't, if they were to have this so-called interest in the Wei Lee fight, I doubt it. Because they've been, up until this point, they've been very content with keeping Wei Lee and Valentina out of the main event. When's the last time? When have you seen Wei Lee in the main event? And they talk about how Wei Lee is such a huge market, right? But she's been on the co-main. So I don't necessarily think it changes unless they, I just don't think it changes, because as much as I love women's MMA, the rest of the world don't love it as much as me. And it still has a problem selling. And I just feel like UFC isn't that motivated. It's in terms of pay-per-view, definitely. I don't think they're that motivated for pay-per-view wise to put them in this big super fight in a main event and whatever, because they've consistently put both of them in the co-main anyway. So the idea that UFC is chasing this super fight for the big money, like all they're gonna do is throw Val and Manon on another co-main and then have another title headline. That's what they've been doing. And Val will get her money. It won't be super amazing, but you look at Val's lifestyle, I don't think she's complaining. She's traveling, doing her thing consistently all over the world. You can't do that if you ain't making a decent amount of money. So I don't 100% buy into the narrative that UFC or Valentina is chasing this money fight with Wei Li because of that point I just made.
I definitely don't think she is. I definitely don't think she's chasing it at all. Like, I think the question just comes up, and her being a fighter and knowing that it would make money, she wouldn't turn the money down. You know, that would be the situation. I think if it was presented to her, like right now, I think if they presented that fight to her, she would take it over the Manon fight because she's getting older and it would be more money. So I think she would take it on that, but I don't think she's chasing it.
Mm.
What do you think?
She's just not the money person, man. Like, it doesn't seem like it to me.
I don't think she is, but I'm just saying, like, I think she's a good businesswoman, meaning that she did well, she said it in the interview. Remember, she did say that I would fight either one. So it doesn't really come down to her being a money person, it comes down to her being a fighter. That's the part I'm acknowledging, the fact that she said I'll fight anyone. Remember? She said I'll fight anyone.
Yeah.
And if there's money
Yeah.
behind it, she gonna take it. So yeah.
So I mean, yeah. At the end of the day,
Because I
I
read
just don't think UFC.
I just read what these fighters say and put it together. Like, I've been seeing this for years. Like, whether
Yeah,
it's
man.
Floyd or her, like, she's not a greedy type and she's not a money chaser. But like you said, she said anyone. But once you put anyone next to a big dollar amount, then that's the one it's going to be. So if they gave it to her, yes. But she's not the type to say, I'll take that fight. I want that fight. I'm chasing that fight. No, she's not that type of fighter. No.
Right.
But if it's given to her, she's going to take it. Because, hey, just like all of us, we want money. You know what I mean? You may not be a money person, but we know we need money to live. And that's why I see it as. So it's just her being good business, but not good, a bit good businesswoman, but not being greedy, you know, and taking a once in a lifetime opportunity. Because when that fight is presented, you ain't getting no other big fights, whether it be a co-main or main, you ain't getting no other big fights. Axel said combo two beasts. The thing is, it looks like the UFC does not want to make the Valentina Manon fight. They want Manon as champion because they don't want Manon as champion because they think she is not marketable.
What's so funny about that though
Yeah.
is anytime, and it kind of irritates me a little bit, but I understand it is what it is. I don't begrudge the people doing it, but a lot of times you'll have the reporters ask them, when are you coming to this side of the world? When are you coming to this country? You got any plans on a card? And every time Dana White, he's like, we want to go everywhere, right?
Oh, hang
And we
on
want
real
to get
quick.
into this market. We want to get in that. What'd you say?
Hold that real quick. What did I say about Valentina caring about who it was? Did I say that?
Caring about who she fights?
Yeah, did I say that? Because James is saying I'm putting a phony narrative out. I gotta take your wrench for that, James. Because come on now. You want a reaction to that? I gotta take your wrench for that. How am I pushing a fake narrative with that when I just said she'll fight anyone?
Where did he say that? Was he talking to you or was he talking to the whoever he talking
No,
to?
he talking to me because he put my name in the title. So
Okay. I don't see it. Where is it at? Is that the bottom or like?
I'm looking right at it.
So you put out a fake narrative
Because I said she would take the Wei Lee fight. If they presented both of them fights to her and one makes more money and she takes that. Now come on.
Oh,
Come
I
on. Man.
see it. I see it. I don't know because I don't know what's in her. Like I know she'll fight whoever. My biggest concern is that they actually go and offer her the Whaley fight and try to convince her to fight that fight because you know she ain't gonna freaking turn it down. If they're like, "Hey, you're fighting Whaley next," she'll be like, "What?" I think she would even be surprised at that. I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I think deep down, she won't say it. I think deep down, Valentina does believe Manon should be next. The fact that she even said Manon's been waiting, I don't care how she said it. The fact that she said it means she knows that it's going on, right? And I consider Valentina to be someone who, treats the sport with respect. You know what I'm saying? Like she holds the sport in very high regard. And I don't think the competitor in Valentina would think it's right for Manon to not be next. I'm gonna go ahead and say I predict that she would prefer the Manon fight and she would take the Manon fight. I can't prove that, but that's my opinion. I think that's her. I think she would do that instead of taking the Whaley fight. I'm not saying she wouldn't take the Whaley, but I predict that she would prefer and favor the Manon fight just on principle. Just because of the fact that she said that to me fully
Yeah,
says
I
that
agree
she's
with that.
aware.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think if she was presented with that fight, no doubt she's going to take it. But my thing is, if they only presented her the Wei Lee fight, she would take it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the concern.
Like, she's not, like we said, she's not going to go out of the way and say, "Oh, well, what about Manon?" If they presented her that money fight on a good card as a co-main, she would probably take that.
Yeah. Robot, we gotta really define the word scared. Cause I just how on earth is Val scared of a person she fought twice? In the second fight, people thought she won it. It was a split decision. How are you scared of someone you fought to a split decision in the second fight? As opposed to the first fight, you clearly lost 2 out of the 3 rounds. So you essentially improved your performance over the course of a second 5-round fight. And now all of a sudden, oh, I'm scared of this person, and you just did better than your last performance against them? How on earth are you scared of that person? Like, I'm starting to debate whether or not Robot Chicken Wings specifically trolls or if he actually believes what he's saying. Because I don't know in what world you could like I said, you got to define the word scared. How is she scared of Nunez? Please explain that to me. How are you scared of anybody you fight twice and ask for a third fight? In almost every interview she's asked about it, she said, "I think it's gonna happen," and then freaking Amanda retired on her ass. But I mean, how? Just he got to be trolling, bro.
Wait a minute, hold on.
It's
Oh, James. Yeah, James. I'm reacting to your comment right there, James, because you called my name. See, you talking a bunch of other crap, talking about Tom Aspinall and John Jones, and that ain't the topic. So I ain't acknowledging that. But if you call my name, I'm gonna look. It's common sense. And if you talking trash, I mean, come on, James. Like, don't make stuff up, man. Like, come on. How long you been in here? You still need to be educated, James. Dang. Gunnar said
uh,
Nunez was one of the girls she did say she wanted a third crack at. Oh, yeah, one day. I don't know if she ever wants to go back to 135 now. Maybe. I know she had answered that question a little while back, but recently she said to she wants to go back to work. She wants to go back to work at 125 now that she got the belt back. So I would,
Yeah, I heard that too. She
yeah,
essentially said there's a lot
bantamweight,
going on at 125
yeah,
now.
and I don't
That
think
was her. That
bantamweight is,
was her attitude.
bantamweight
Yeah.
ain't really where she wants to be right now. I don't think, they kind of got their own thing going. And when you throw a name like Kayla Harrison out there, I don't know about that fight.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Two Beast, don't waste your time with chicken. He's a joke. Yeah, like I said, I have a hard time telling. Like me, I don't care if you want to be a troll, but I try to at least like me. At the end of the day, this is practice for me because I believe that what I'll be doing in the future, I'm gonna have to communicate and speak with a lot of people. So any opportunity I get, and specifically for something that I love, such as MMA, I like to speak, debate, and discuss topics, right? So I try to do that with people who I think are actually serious. And at this point, I can't really tell what Robot Chicken was. And I guess maybe that's that person's goal. If so, credit to them. But at the end of the day, I just can't buy into the narrative that Valentina is scared of anybody.
No,
I
I'll look.
mean,
Yeah, no, I don't think she's scared. I don't think Valentina's scared. Like I said, I don't think any fighter that takes the time to, put their life on the line. I mean, for boxing, I mean, you almost get half naked, you get into the ring in front of everybody in the world. And that's something that half the people, well, the majority of the people watching aren't going to do. So I don't think that those type of people are scared of anything. So I think it just comes down to, patience and, choices. Like right now, Valentina said, my choice is to let my neck heal and I'm going to just do what I got to do and wait. But in the meantime, that fight, it will be made. She's just going to have to, keep doing what she's doing. Like I think Manon is doing a smart thing by training, not overtraining, but just staying ready for the fight and continuing to promote the fight.
I would
So
be interested in having a conversation with Robot Chicken Wings. Like I'm not even joking. Like because I mean, if you just trolling, then by all means, that's your right to just troll. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I don't care about that. But if you want to be serious and have a serious conversation, you know what I'm saying? I'm up to it. Like what your call says, it's not fair that he had the opportunity to defend his opinion. He had opportunity now. Because let me tell you, I'm on a phone right now that came out in 2021, I believe, 2022, the Android Samsung phone, and I got some Skull Candy headphones, and I think what T-Mobile internet, and I am on this stream right now. And now, granted, I don't know what anybody's financial situation is, but I'm rolling with some cheap equipment right now. And to my understanding, y'all can hear me. So, I don't know his working schedule. I don't know his personal whatever. But Combo said that this was going to be happening on Friday, approximately 2-3 days ago. So if he wanted to defend his opinions via discussion, you know what I'm saying, he could have did it.
yeah. Well, that a phone in 2011, you said 2021, right?
21, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's not that old. I mean, I got an iPhone 11. Like, I really don't upgrade like that. So, I mean, I could, but I just, I don't pay attention. Like, when did the iPhone 11 come out? When did that
Oh,
come
I
out?
couldn't tell you. I'm not an iPhone.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
anti
Hey,
iPhone.
okay, yeah, mine was mine's 2019, buddy.
Oh, okay.
I got an iPhone 11. Like I said, as long as I can make calls and text on it, that's all I really care about. Or as long as I can stream yard on it. But yeah, shoot. Uh, yeah, man, I don't grade that fast either. Yeah, robot. One day that would be fun, man. You just come on, man. Get online, and you
Robot
said
said I must trigger y'all. You don't trigger me. You confuse me. I don't know if you're serious or not. If you're serious, I'd love to debate with you. Like on a friendly level, like, you know what I'm saying? Not like argue and yell and scream or nothing crazy like that. But I just can't tell if you're serious enough. So it's really confusion. It's not trigger. Because at the end of the day, I don't have any friends. You feel what I'm saying? I'm a loner at heart. Like I could go a year, 2 years without talking to another human and be fine. So it's like you're not hurting me with your opinion, but if you want to put out a serious like thought or comment, at least bring logic and like facts or something. Because when you say someone's scared, and I don't know if your background, but unless you willing to get in the cage with and fight in front of a bunch of people, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you could call a fighter scared of anyone. That's why even with the John Jones situation, I won't personally go out and call him a duck, but I'm not gonna be the one defending him. You feel what I'm saying? If other people do it, so I hurt you enough to bring up. It hurt you enough to bring up. You must not have heard my point when I said this is practice for me. This is an opportunity. It was a topic that I was very aware of. There's certain topics that I'm not as aware of, certain fighters I don't know as much of and their situations, but Valentina I know pretty decently. So I heard a topic that was being thrown out there, a narrative that was being thrown out there. Okay, this is an opportunity for me to get practice, talk about something that I enjoy debating. I'm not hurt by any of your comments. I'm not I don't do mind games. Like, I mean, now this is something that would be you putting up like you said, what was it? Opinions. Where was it? He said something about the opinions are not wrong. Where is it at? Trolling because we don't agree. No. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, people have their opinions. I'm not wrong. You are wrong if you saying that I'm playing mind games. You dead wrong on that. Because I don't know you. I don't know your situation. You know what I'm saying? You could become a billionaire tomorrow. You could die tomorrow. It's not going to make a difference to me. I promise you that. It just is what it is. Like, I'm not, like, I don't do mind games. I'm on here because I like discussing MMA and practicing debating. It's a very good skill to develop. You feel what I'm saying? And it's one thing, it's a topic that I'm pretty knowledgeable on in terms of the whole situation. So I took the opportunity to talk about it. No mind games. No, I ain't trying to confuse people. You know, I'm just saying, you know, having a debate.
and that's cool. It would be nice, if we could have the person you want to debate on there. Like that'd be nice too. I'm just saying, like I'm gonna hold that open to Robot one day. He want to come on and put his opinion out there. Sometimes that's cool. It's always open. Um, Axel said, "Can we please change the topic? It looks like it's personal." Yeah, sure. If you like. What do you think of this Kareem Silva Arujo fight tomorrow?
I love it, man. I love that they put it on the main card. I'm
I
not gonna
think,
debate people who think it don't deserve to be on there. I
yeah,
definitely won't argue that.
hmm
But I'm definitely grateful. Screw it. Like I'll take it.
yeah. I think it might
Um,
turn out to be a good fight. I just, I just can't. I'm hoping it proves me wrong. I hope it proves me wrong because I just don't have the same hype for it. Like I was even hyped for Aaron and Rose. I was hyped for that fight. I'll definitely be hyped when Aaron and Macy fight. I think I'm definitely
thanks.
gonna be hyped for this Tyler Santos and Dakota fight though. Really want to see some questions answered.
Man, I ain't hyped for that at all.
You
'Cause
ain't hyped
that's
for
just
that one?
nah.
I'm
I'm gonna
hyped.
tell you why I'm not hyped for it. Because it's
Okay.
gonna be a major disappointment in the fact that I'm gonna have to hear about the results and see the results without watching the dang on fight.
Oh.
Cause it's like like it really comes down to a topic that is personal to me, like, and completely off topic about how businesses operate.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's just like, I'm not giving whoever money for a streaming platform or what they call a network, just so that I could then all of a sudden watch this one event. Like, bro, like it's just no, like, no, I cannot. Like, I try to do the right thing. I try to do the right thing. Sit here, okay, I'll pay our monthly subscription. And they're like, yo, you get what? You gotta connect to a network. I'm like, yo, what? Come on, man. Like, that's the whole point of this online, like, I don't know, transaction that we're currently in. Me
Yeah.
paying you for this, like, like, this is what we trying to move away from. And you trying to bring me back to that. Like, that just threw me off. So at this point, it for me now disappointment in terms of how exciting the fight gonna be. Not at all. I'm just disappointed because I know I'm not gonna be able to watch that fight, and I would love to watch that fight. And
So it's not like going just regular ESPN Plus or something like that this time?
I I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing up with another one. Another
It might be because I know when I was trying to watch Invicta a couple of nights ago,
no,
a
Victor
month
was
ago.
definitely a problem.
I
Yeah.
was watching I was trying to watch it and they said you had to get the CBS Sports Network. So I'm like, okay. So I get the app and then they wanted me to connect to like a network or like cable. I'm like, I want cable. I don't have cable. I don't do cable. I thought the whole purpose was let me watch it for free on your app, but I couldn't even do that. Then I tried on Fubo Sports. They said, "Oh, you can watch Invicta over here." So I click on them, sign up. Then they like, "Hey, connect your CBS network to this." I'm like, "Man, I don't have CBS, man. That's the whole point of this. I'm signing up for this app right now." So they've been doing that with those. They've been doing that with some of the cable networks, but I think because I've seen PFL like on some of the PFL platforms, I can watch on Plus without connecting to cable. Like I can
Mhm.
actually just pull up my ESPN Plus app, just like when I watch Fight Night, UFC Fight Night, and all the other stuff. Like it's all connected onto the Plus app. So hopefully this one is because yeah, this should be a good one. This would be a good one not to miss. So yeah. George, what's up? He said, not really. I watched the whole thing on YouTube for free. Are you talking about the Invicta card? I
I think they posted it like a few days after.
Oh, they did? Okay. 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 Six said just get yourself on IPTV box and you said, oh, okay. Gunner said Invicta with CBS Sports was such a weird choice of networks. It was. They just need to go back to Fight Pass. Just go back to Fight Pass. That's where it was, straight up, just like LFA and all of them was on Fight Pass.
You know, there's only two promotions I know of. It's BKFC and I think Peak Fighting. And those are the only two that I've seen that are really just very straight up. They got an app,
Mm-hmm.
monthly subscription, all their content is on the app. And it's exclusive to them. There are no networks. But the thing about UFC, they got contractual deals with ESPN. And the other thing too is with UFC Fight Pass, I think it's like 10 to 15 bucks a month, something like that. ESPN Plus, 10 to 15 bucks. But the difference is there's millions upon millions upon millions of people on ESPN Plus that have not only access to UFC, they got access to NBA, MLB, soccer, you name it. So they're getting so much more with that ESPN Plus subscription to where you get more eyes on the sport with the ESPN Plus subscription, and then they get a chunk of the money based on ratings, da 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 da. As opposed to UFC Fight Pass, all you're getting is UFC and then whatever else, you know, they got on Fight Pass, but it's mostly just one sport, which is MMA fighting. Whereas
Mhm.
ESPN, you got all this other stuff. So the problem is money wise, I don't think UFC can depend exclusively on however many people are willing to pay for just UFC Fight Pass. They
Mhm.
got to depend on the ESPN Plus, and not to mention all the sponsorships and all that crap. They got contracts with that more than likely. And yeah, with all that combined, they pretty much have to have that ESPN Plus crap where it's some of it's on ESPN, some of it's on ESPN Plus, some of it's on Fight Pass. It's a mess, dude. I can't mess with it. If I can't watch it for free, then I move on, dude. Like, cause, and I'd be willing to pay them, but the problem is the platform issues that I've run into in the past. And it's like I remember the first time it happened to me, man. I was gonna get Hulu or Netflix or something. Pay them the monthly fee because I had one specific show I wanted to watch. I pay the basic subscription. I get to the show. They're like, nah, you gotta pay this. It's freaking like it was like $20-$30 more per month to get access to that show, that one show that I wanted to watch. I'm like, never again in life
Yeah,
will I
that's
ever do a subscription. The only reason I got Prime is because I do so much shipping and you know what I'm saying and all that good stuff. I gotta buy a whole bunch of stuff through there and whatnot. That's the only reason that
and
I got
Prime
access to
to
that.
me, yeah, Prime is like the only one I have now, for good reason. Like Prime actually has a lot of good stuff though. Like they actually have a bunch of other channels you can actually benefit off of. Like I can watch and documentaries for me. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 6 1 FC, like they have that deal. Like I actually like watching 1 FC. I think that Amazon deal is good because even the way it's presented, like there's not a lot of lag. And as far as like skipping and like going back, you can actually still have control over like a live event. Whereas ESPN Plus is kind of hard to do that. But like with 1 FC on Amazon, that whole setup is working. I think UFC needs to go over to Amazon actually or Prime. Um, it actually works better. Oh, they're going over to Netflix. Oh crap! I don't have Netflix. All of the maps, man. Shoot, Netflix is offering this service to promoters. Yeah, 1 FC. Yeah, 1 FC over there. I like it though. I like it over there. I think there's some boxing deals over there too. So yeah, it works there. Yeah, George. I remember Invicta got, they cut ties with the UFC, but they really shouldn't have because they still got their fighters going over there. So
Yeah,
to me, that
man.
to me, they've been jumping around a lot before they can even like get recognized. They've been jumping from Paramount Plus to they've been jumping from Paramount Plus to this other platform called Axe TV. Now they're with
Yeah,
CBS. So it's crazy right now. They just need to go back to one place.
yeah. It's it's a mess. I do wish that people could just do the BKFC route, just real simple, just subscription. I don't know. They do pay-per-views as well. I don't know, but to
Yeah, they
me,
do
it's
pay
just
per views. They do pay per views.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Peak Fighting though. Peak Fighting is good. Shout out to one of my fighters. I did an interview. Natalia Speed. She fights for them, and I bought one of her pay per views off of there. And yeah, you just go in there, click it, boom, and I'm watching it.
Ah, man. It's just, and I love that they don't advertise. Maybe you know better than I do, because I only catch a few fights here and there on YouTube. Do they like advertise themselves as like a feeder system to the UFC?
No, no, they kind of just do their own thing. It's almost like I
Mm,
know, eventually everybody wants to go there, but they kind of just present themselves like their own. Like I haven't really heard them mention like, oh, go to the UFC. You know how LFA kind of does because they're on the
yeah,
platform. But
yeah.
yeah, Peak, they just kind of do their own thing, you know. As far as I know, they got their own style over there, so I like it, you know.
Yeah, man. I gotta agree with that, man, because what's up with the comments, man? I don't know what's going on. I know James and like Robot is going at it.
Oh, I was I was looking at what Six was saying because he was talking about the deals and George was talking about that. But see, that's why you get ignored, James, because you be off topic, something else. So if you say my name, like I said, I'll appear like Candyman. But hey, rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace to Tony Todd. He passed away, man. The actor that played Candyman, he passed away a few
Man.
days ago, man. But Gunner said small gloves, Muay Thai on one is fantastic. Yeah, yeah. That
No,
damage, man. That damage, though.
one
Somebody,
alienated me.
you said one.
They alienated me with that dang on freaking MMA in a freaking ring, dog. I'm trying my hardest not to curse right now, bro. Like, come on, man. That is the biggest no-no for me in sports. If you disagree, fine. I hope I can't, man. Like, why would you put yourself in a situation where the action will be interrupted? It's grappling involved. Why would you want a ring? And
Yeah,
they have so many wrestler based fighters over there. It's not like they have like 90% strikers. Like there's plenty of people over there that fight with a wrestling style, and I just like, why would you put them in a ring? And the what drives me so crazy is that I know they have cages. It's not like they don't have them, or like they just all of a sudden shifted to putting those in rings so much. I was just like, man,
yeah.
it's
Like
just like
I
jujitsu
think,
too. Like that, you just setting yourself up for failure. Now all of a sudden the momentum shift and just
yeah,
uh,
it
that's
don't
my
make
biggest
sense,
pet
man.
peeve. The
Yeah,
only
because
thing that could compete with weight cuts and judging for me in MMA is MMA and rings. That's a close third place to the things that are my biggest pet peeves in MMA. Weight
yeah,
cuts,
yeah,
judging, and MMA in a ring. That is
yeah. The ring is terrible, man. Like I was watching one fight and it's it was just so distracting because whenever the one girl, I can't remember who it was, she got the takedown, like half out the ring. Herb Dean got to move him and shift him. Hey, come on, move back. You go right back that position. Oh, move back, move back. I'm like, come on, man. Like this just ain't gonna work, man. There's too many interruptions. So imagine when you fighting somebody that's really aggressive and they go flying out the cage, flying out the ring one day, you know. So I just don't. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either, man. I'm just not. Like, it only works for your stand up fighters, and that's it.
but because it's so confusing though, because they've done several grappling matches in cages. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if they have like a venue issue or a logistical issue of bringing the cage as opposed to the ring, but
I
it's
I think it goes down to the venues. It might be like venues. That's what it is. Like the ones they go to here might only regulate a ring. Because I've been to some events where they actually had to change. They had to postpone while we are waiting to get in because the ring wasn't a certain level or certain things weren't fixed in it. So some places may not be regulated to hold a cage, so they got to
oh
use
yeah,
so they got to use the
regulations.
ring. Yeah.
Man,
So vice versa with that. So sometimes they
yeah.
sign up here. Oh, we gotta watch it in the cage. Oh, no, unfortunately, we back in the ring. So, and the thing is, if they know they're going to do that, they might as well just sign on just your strikers. Just sign all strikers on there. But the crazy part is, like, even in strikers and boxers, they go flying out of the ring sometime. You know, you get knocked out of the ring, or you lean on the ropes wrong, you go flying out, man. So
But Axel, even with that though, it just confuses me because they can still do all of those sports that you mentioned in that comment
Mm-hmm.
in a cage.
In a cage.
You can
Yep.
still do those in a cage. The Muay Thai, kickboxing, you can do those. They've done it in a cage. That's what's so confusing about it, is that they have put those same martial art cards on in cages. They've had grappling matches in cages. And when I seen the grappling match in the cage, it was cool as hell. Like that was my favorite jiu-jitsu match ever watching in the cage. Like when they did Submission Underground with Chael Sonnen,
Mm-hmm.
that was awesome because it was in a cage. And jiu-jitsu in a cage like is phenomenal. But they turned away from that. I started seeing more and more fights in cars in the ring. I was like, dog, I can't do it. But I don't know. Like I think it's more like what you said, what's the contractual thing, like the regulations for like maybe putting things in a ring as opposed to a cage or something, like a venue thing maybe.
Mm-hmm. Because when I was there and they were telling me what the issue was with like a boxing ring, I was like, it's just one little thing. Like you think it's like just one little thing, but at the same time, it's like, no, like if this one little thing happens, if one little mishap happens to this person in the ring, you know, they can be held liable. So I was like, okay, makes sense. Yeah, George, that's exactly what I was thinking of when Bernard Hopkins got knocked out of the ring. So all I saw was his feet up in the air, man. So yeah, like yeah, it happens, man. So my thing is like with grapplers, just just stick to your cage, man. That's it. Oh, Robot said my bad 2 beats. I didn't know I touched the nerve in my opinion.
Like I said, he just confuses me. You haven't touched the nerve. You gave me an opportunity to practice my speaking and my, communication. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know whether to debate him or not because he just confuses me. And I'm not saying that to insult him in any means. I'm not at all. Like, I really don't know where you stand, if you're serious or if you're not. And that's why I don't really know how to react. And you ain't hit a nerve. I'm just like, I finally got something that I have a topic that I understand. So it's just like, I just took the opportunity to speak on it. That's just what it is. I mean, the main thing I think we disagreed on was the whole acknowledgement thing, which I went by the book definition. He went by something that was, I might be getting the people mixed up. I don't know if it was Axel. It was between both of them two. Was the difference in opinions with the acknowledgement. I was going by the book definition, and they were saying the acknowledgement meant essentially that no, they have to say the name and this, that, and other. And by all means, no, she didn't do that. I can't argue that. Like, she did not. If that's your definition of acknowledgement, no, she didn't. But if you're going by the book definition, which is what I have to assume if I'm in a conversation that takes place in English, until you correct me, I have to assume that you're going by the book definition, which is you just say you prove that you say that you know the existence of something, which she did. She knows that she knows that Manon is waiting to fight her. She acknowledged that by the definition of acknowledge. But if your definition, or because you got things like slang, so you can't just say someone didn't mean a certain thing just based off of the word they use. So I get that. So at the end of the day, oh yeah, all the way. I've been freaking saying that all the Rage George Page, he got it. Yo, for those who don't know, that's been Roman Reigns' thing for the past like 2 years. Acknowledge me. Oh my God. That was funny. I've been thinking that. I wanted to say it, but I've been thinking it for the longest time. Just look at a couple promos from a guy named Roman Reigns. He's a pro wrestler. That's his thing. Acknowledge me. It's funny as hell. But yeah, Robot Chicken, if acknowledged by your definition means you know, you gotta specifically call them and da 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 da. Then absolutely, you're right. Val didn't do that, but you know, my counter to that is just basically that's been Val's MO since day one. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that because she's been consistent. So, but no nerves hit. I promise you, it's all good. If you want to debate other topics or you want to whatever, it's all good, man. I just really like MMA and talking.
Six said, okay, Six said, what do you think about Nisa Mexon losing to Jackie Boonton? I gotta go back and watch it again. I think I watched some of it, but I'm not surprised. You know, I think, you know, Jackie Boonton, you know, she's really good at what she does. And I think Anissa Mexon is solid, but the resume is not there like that. You know, I wanted to see her fight Stamp, but I actually had Stamp when I was picking Stamp. I felt Stamp Fairtex was going to beat Anissa Mexon as well. Um, but hey, she just got to go back to the drawing board. Definitely shows me that she might have not been ready for, you know, just mixed martial arts period. But that one there, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at each round by round. Um, yeah, a Boonton, you know, just on a different level. Same thing with Stan Fairtex, man. That one I think was going to be a little bit more one sided. Sucks they couldn't have made. It sucks they can't make that fight now. Stamp is still out injured, but we'll see. We'll see though.
Robot chicken wings. It was 4 days ago, though. He was still thinking about it. Well, the reason, well, I wasn't really thinking about it actually until like I want to say 6:30 when I was doing laundry. Is when I started thinking about talking on the live today. And the thing is, like, Combo specifically said like my name in there. He said 2B's gonna be speaking, da 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 da. So yeah, I said it 4 days ago, but I haven't been thinking about it for 4 days. Just about like an hour up until, and then maybe like about 10 minutes before I texted Combo and asked him what time he was going on yesterday. And that was about it. It wasn't 4 days.
Oh yeah, no. And we had scheduled that, right? Yeah, we had scheduled that Monday because I said I was going to be out of town. So yeah, just scheduled it so I could come on today and jump on here. Let me see. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
George.
at this
Well, hold on.
so
George said you think Tanisha Tennant will ever return. I don't know, man. Like, I would like to see her just come back, you know, to Invicta and see what she can do. I have to kind of go back and see what's been up with her, see, you know, what she's been doing, like she's been training, you know, what she's been working on. But she might come back. I know you got Jennifer Maya and Toledo Bernardo fight next month for the bantamweight belt. Hopefully she can get back into that mix. Yeah, Gloma said Rose makes her best matchup look hard. Oh, against Aaron, you mean? Yeah, yeah. I was thinking of picking Rose in that fight, but I said, nah, I got to take that back and say, nah, let me go with Aaron. Honestly, I'm proud. Hate watching since she, well, honestly, I'm proud. I hate watching her since she dissed Whaley. Okay. Boonton, Thomas and Boonton whoop Stamp. Oh, okay. She might, but I still think Stamp would be Anissa Mexon. Josh said, why did Jennifer Maya leave the UFC? She didn't leave. They just, you know, didn't renew it. You know, didn't renew that contract. Um, so we'll see if she comes back, which is crazy. Why I don't understand why they didn't renew her contract. Six said, would you entertain a Rose versus Whaley 3 at flyweight? No. I would entertain Rose and Andrade 3 at flyweight. That would be a good fight. Rose Whaley 3, oh no, because Rose and Andrade at least are 1-1, and that one's guaranteed action. So I would take that fight. Yeah, Goldman said the way Aaron couldn't take down Santos or Manon, you would think Rose could do something. Not really, because
Rose is smaller though.
yeah, Rose is smaller. Like Rose had that one good takedown in the first round, but I think it took a lot out of her, and I think Aaron just didn't expect it. But when Aaron settled in and really started putting her strength on Rose, Rose got sapped big time.
So I think I have to clear the air with Robot Chicken. So the whole reason why I didn't respond is because I knew I was going to be on here to discuss everything. And plus, work, things I got going on outside of work as well. And I suck at typing too. So that's another thing. So so I had like a whole bunch of things working
You
against
know
me.
what? I don't mind. I like typing, but there's some things you just don't want to type. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get under people's skin with my truth. I don't doubt that. I just don't happen to be one of those people.
That's what James think he always does. Like he'll tag my name and say, "Oh, you said it." Well, yeah, you just said my name. Like other times you ain't talking to me, but like you put my name next to some nonsense, I'm gonna acknowledge it. You put my name next to some nonsense, I acknowledge it. Like it ain't trigger me or nothing. Like I pulled a trigger. That's how I see it. I pull the triggers here, but I just, when you say something crazy, I'm gonna acknowledge it.
Yeah, I mean, like, my whole thing is like, you could have any opinion you want. I don't really care at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But when I see like a false thing, like you people say like, oh, they got an opinion, but opinions can include, false ideologies or false statements.
Oh yeah, a
You know
lot
what I'm
of
saying?
times. Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes more than not, more often than
Yeah,
not, they do.
a lot of the times, yeah.
Yeah, but it is a talent. It really is a talent getting under people's skin. It's not like a talent that is looked up by, or it's kind of like a talent that can be looked down upon, but in a lot of people's eyes. But it is a talent indeed, like getting under people's skin. Because some people, they don't really care. You know what I'm saying? But then if you could still manage to like trigger, I mean, look, nobody likes when people do trolling and everything, but like it it, it might not be what people want to hear, but it is a talent. As crazy as that sounds, trolling is a
Sometimes,
talent.
yeah, sometimes I think it can be done intentionally or unintentionally. Like some people, like you say, that know how they see it as a talent. Like sometimes I knew how to do it because when I would just say truthful stuff sometimes, and people always say you're not supposed to say certain things like that, or I'm like, but it's true, I'm being serious. Like as a kid, or as a kid, as a teen,
Yeah,
even my early ages in my job and stuff, like I would say certain things to people and I'm telling the truth, but it would kind of get a reaction and they would be like, you weren't supposed to say that. Or if it gets under people's skins, I was like, well, sometimes the truth can get under people's skin, like that's why they always say sometimes you just have to hold your tongue and not say anything, or watch what you say, watch your mouth. So
yeah.
but
Nah, man, like,
yeah, some people, they just, yeah, they have a talent, like parasites, they know how to go up under that skin. Josh said pushing people's buttons combo, that's the word. Yeah, push people's buttons, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they know how to push people's buttons.
yeah, man. Like I have like a lot of training though, cause like when I was younger, I got bullied and stuff. Like, so the way I dealt with it is I focused on how I was interacting with people. Like I obsessed with it. Like, okay, what are my actions doing to either encourage this, or like, or what actions can I take to prevent it? Whether it be fighting a person, whether it be being cordial with them, whatever it is, right? So, and not only being a loner, like when you quiet, you're not speaking, but you're listening. you hear a lot of people and you hear how they interact with other people. And like over the years, I've just obsessed with how people interact with other people. And I just developed the skill of being able to interact with people in a way that's cordial and not like provoke shit. Oh, sorry, man. Provocative. I can't think of that word. It's either provoking or something to that extent. Like interacting with people in a way that it doesn't provoke them, so to speak. It's something that I've learned over the years. And so when I like get confronted with things that and the other, like I can let it pass, or I can get violent, or I got a lot of different options. You know what I'm saying? But it just depends on the situation. You feel what I'm saying? And to me, when you're talking to someone online, there's an infinite amount of things that you have to take into consideration. For one, you don't even know the age half the time the person you're talking to. That's for one. You don't even know the gender of the person, depending on the situation. And those two things alone have so many variables. It's ridiculous. Like you got so many different personality types and stuff like that you could depict from just those two demographics. So it's like it really is, man, like interesting just talking to people and interacting with people, like when you study it for so long, you know.
Yeah, I like to I learn a lot from just people watching. You know, just watching people every day, whether it be at work or just watching people and hearing what they say. Those people tell a lot about themselves, you know, like this is the most I talk right here on this show. Like when I'm everywhere else, I don't talk a lot. I'm a quiet person for real. Like I don't really talk a lot. It's the most I ever talk if I'm on here, but I just always look at people and watch them and just study them. It's weird. Yeah, I study people. You know, I study them by race or study them by culture, and you just see so many things about people, like how they give themselves away with different things. Like I'm really quiet, so sometimes people just tell me stuff and I don't even know them. I'm not gonna go deep into that, but like sometimes people just start talking to me. I don't even know them. It's kind of scary sometimes, you know. Like people just literally feel like the need to talk to you or talk to you because you're not talking, and they just start telling their whole story. So, um, just a skill you pick up sometimes, and not even it's not even
Yeah,
a skill I was trying to develop. You know, just something just came naturally, and it's
yeah.
just weird. But on here, like it's totally different though. Like I don't really take anything people say up here seriously unless I'm actually online with them talking. Like I'm talking to you now, but like I feel like if people have to hide behind something, well, some people that get on here, like I see Josh and actually get on here to actually discuss. But then when you do have other trolls I have blocked in the past, it's like you can't really take those people seriously because that's all they came on to do, you know? They come in behind a fake name and so on. So it's not really something I can say, oh, yeah, this person knows what they're talking about. Or maybe I am stupid because they call me stupid. You know, I can't take that seriously. But yeah, you're gonna have those type of people. So before getting mad or even getting, you know, ready to blow up, you have to think, yeah, what age is this person? Or like do they even really like MMA? You know, like
Yeah, yeah, but
or do they just
I'm
hate Valentine or do they just hate Rose? You know what I mean? Just something like that. You never know.
sometimes like, cause like I'm not an expert per se, you feel what I'm saying? So I'll see like a fight and I'll go through comments and I'm like, cause I'm trying to gauge what other people are saying about the fight to see if like I'm way off with what I saw. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna still
Mm-hmm.
have my opinion at the end of the day, but I want to see if it matches with other people's opinions to see if like I missed something. Cause
Mm-hmm.
you know, if I'm watching it, I'm biased for a fighter specifically, right? But other people watching it might have been biased for the other fighter, and they might have seen some stuff that I didn't see. You know, so at the end of the day, that's one of the reasons why I look at comments in the section sometimes to be like, okay, so they thought that person won that round because of the knees or whatever it might be. But I do like to assess what other people are thinking, because maybe like I saw something a certain way and the judges didn't, and maybe I was wrong in seeing it that way. There's opportunities to learn, in fact. As
Mhm.
crazy as it is, and as hostile as YouTube comments can be, there are some opportunities to learn. It's rare, but there are. And, you know, that's just my mentality of trying to like develop skills and develop like, you know, the ability to communicate and things like that. Cause I do have aspirations of being an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur and everything. So it's a skill that I got to develop more and more infinitely. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
communicating, cause that's like the main thing that entrepreneurs do is they communicate with
Right.
investors, with business partners, with this, that, you know. So I just combine the two, learning to communicate, developing that skill with a topic that I love, which is MMA. It's a win-win.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I enjoy you get on here and speak your piece on anything because I know it's gonna make sense. Yeah, Josh said Josh said he speaks out. I don't think you do. Like whenever you said something crazy, Josh. I mean, for the most part, I haven't heard you say anything crazy. Like nothing. Um, I don't think you said anything immature. Like I don't never see you call anybody names. So he said everybody boots him out of other channels. Dang. What other channels you get on, Josh, that you get booted out of? There ain't that many WMMA channels out there, man.
It
What you get?
ain't. I've
What,
looked.
what have you said that was so offensive, Josh? I mean, like you ain't said nothing offensive over here, so I'm trying to gauge. Like, are you just dealing with sensitive people or what? I'm just saying,
I
man.
don't know, man. It can be hostile out there, but it's murky waters that you gotta navigate through, doc.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
so,
yeah, I never been I never really read the chats on other videos like or other like streams like as far as like the big MMA channels because I'd be like these dudes over here are nuts. Like what are they talking about? Like they just be saying random stuff. Like there's a random like what do you call it? There's a random chat or something they always post where it always says rest in peace Dana White or rest in peace Joe Rogan. It's on like some of the MMA junkie live streams when they're doing like fight campaign. They always post that same thing over and over. They just be saying stupid stuff over there sometimes.
mm,
That and racist stuff, man.
I don't know. Like, there's only, excuse me, there's like maybe three. Like, I only got like 3 subscriptions on all of YouTube right now. I ain't gonna name the other 2, but you one of them combo. So, and then outside of those 3, there's maybe like 2 or 3 MMA based channels that I'll check on like on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
One of them can be torture a lot because the guy likes to rip on women's MMA half the time. But there's times in there where he actually is serious and, you know, talks about he actually breaks down the fight. You probably
Mm-hmm.
know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another guy, he does really well. Like you could tell that he actually cares about, he does all of the MMA cards with UFC, and
Okay.
then he'll break down the women's fights, all of them, and it's a little detail you can notice. The women's fights, the male fights, between all of them, it ranges from like 3 to 6 minute breakdowns for each of the fights.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he'll spend like 20, 30 seconds talking about the women's fight and then 10 minutes about the men. You feel what I'm saying? Like he actually spends time on each of the fights and actually has good insight on it. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
so there's that one and then like one other one. And that's it, man. Like, but WMMA exclusive, I don't see it anywhere. I've tried a bunch of different keywords. I can't find it. Most people, they do the whole cards. They don't specifically focus on the women.
I think that I think it's like Lolita was saying too. There's a lot of people rip on WMMA too, you know. So they just like to join on that bandwagon. You know, some of them be watching the fights low key though. You know, I think some dudes just they don't want to admit it.
I just can't get it, man. It's like for the record, I'm a heterosexual male. So it's like, for me, I just don't see how you don't find that attractive. I just don't get that aspect of it. You got a female that's already physically attractive, but then they actually can go out there, defend themselves. They actually very capable, very athletic, like, and half the time the fights with the women can be a lot more exciting than the men in general. It's just I just don't. And the reason I bring up the heterosexual thing, like, that's their fan base, is like mostly heterosexual, I think maybe Caucasian males, I don't know. And I'm just like, if that's the fan base, I don't see how you can't appeal to women fighting. I know there's that aspect of, oh, I don't want to see him fight because the feminine thing or whatever, but like, I don't personally, I don't see how you don't find that attractive. Like, that to me, that's cool as hell to me. Like, you can fight, you can take care of yourself, independent, da 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 da. Like, that's cool to me, and it's aesthetically cool to watch fighting in general. But then when you add that aspect to it, like, oh, they're not necessary. This is not necessarily them supposed to be doing this, but they're out here doing it anyway against the odds. You know, UFC used to at first said, "Oh, women ain't never gonna be in there," and now they're in there, and they're killing it, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, everybody got their opinions, but I'm just like, yo, this is cool to me. I don't know how everybody else can't see how amazing that it is.
You know, I just, when I started watching it years ago, like, I just never like found the dislike to it like that people were talking about. To me, I just I think me and BJ were talking about it before, like, just something about the effort too at the time the women were putting into it. It was almost like they were putting more effort than the men. That's just how I saw it at the time. Like, I don't know if it was just like the stand-up that I was seeing was more exciting at the time, you know, because it seemed like all the men at the time just seemed like they wanted to grapple and wrestle, where it seemed like a lot of the women that I was watching, they were starting off with stand up, and they were staying there, and they like wanted to throw down on the feet. It was like something I'd never seen before, you know. So to me,
Lolita, right? Oh, go ahead.
What about Lolita?
She said, I think it's because some of the women's fights are lackluster. Sometimes I think it's because there's a bit of jealousy. But that's what's so confusing, though. There's plenty of men's fights that are lackluster. One that jumps off the top of my head, a lot of people complained about Stipe and freaking Francis, right? The first one?
Yeah.
Or no, Francis versus what was his name? Derek Lewis?
Derek Lewis, yeah.
And heavyweight's supposed to be the prestigious, like, you know, that's the division, right? And you got plenty of freaking dull fights all over the men's division. The problem is the percentage of women as opposed to men. There's not nearly as many women's fights as opposed to men's fights. So those lackluster ones slide under the radar with the men, but they get put under a magnifying glass with the women.
Yeah,
and it
say if
freaking sucks.
you got three WMMA fights on one card and they're all boring, you know what people are going to say. But if you got 11 men fights where 6 of them are finishes, but the other 5 are stinkers, then, you know, people still got room to argue and say, "Oh no, men are delivering," you know.
Yeah,
but
it's
that one night, Whaley and Joanna, I mean, they knocked it out of the park versus Izzy and Yoel, man. Like, I know whenever that main event came on, I was like, this ain't this ain't it right now. Josh said a lot of channels roasty combo lets me speak freely. Yeah, I mean, you can speak freely. I mean, as long as you ain't talking stupid. Like, do you be talking stupid? Like, I let you stay because you speak freely. Like we talk about the fight game, yeah. So it's all good. I mean, you don't be saying nothing crazy, right? I mean, I ain't seen you say nothing crazy. Have you, Josh? Josh said, like Norma's butt. What are you talking about Norma's butt now? You said you talking about her? Come on, man. Now you talking crazy. Like, are you just testing saying that? Because I ain't never heard you say that. Talk about what? Why are we even talking about Norma's? I don't. I don't be talking
You
about that.
got kicked out for saying that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not talking about it, but at the same time, I ain't gonna kick you out. But I mean, if you start simping over it, we might have to walk you out. Like if you one of them dudes that they catch in like the women's bathroom with his phone out, you might get escorted out. Like you ain't talking like that, are you?
I mean, look, man, there's attractive women in the UFC and all over the world, but the reason they matter here is if they can fight. You feel what I'm saying? Norma Dumont can fight. I don't
Yeah.
care, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can have a great attribute here and there, but it's physically, but it's like, heck, you
Can you
got
fight?
plenty of people that are shredded. You look at no disrespect to her, but Jin Fry, right? You look at someone like her, I mean, great physique, but she wasn't necessarily champion and stuff like that. So looks ain't everything. You feel what I'm saying? To me at least, like
Do
sure,
you?
it's like if you got ice cream and then maybe you got like whipped cream, maybe like their looks could play as sprinkles. But I still need my ice cream and I still need my whipped cream and all the other stuff before I get the sprinkles. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's how I look at it. You got to show me something different than a body or a face to impress me when I'm watching this particular sport. And if you complimented her on her backside, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you got to read the room. Like if they're talking about her fight stats and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, she got a nice, you know what, just out of nowhere, and it's like no one's even discussing it or something. I could
Right.
see like that getting you
Right. You
kicked
gotta read
out,
the
but
room. Like it's one thing if say me and BJ, we talk every now and then. Like if we on here and BJ asks me who I think is the prettiest or something like that, okay, then you might throw that in there. But yeah, if we talking about um Karine Silva submitting why she couldn't submit Ariane Lipsky, then you just come up and say Norman got a big butt. It's like where'd that come from? We'd be like, wait, what? That's what I'm saying. Like
man.
you just gotta know your crowd. Like I don't know what other platform you was on, but yeah, maybe if they maybe maybe they was on another conversation, Josh, I guess. Maybe. Hold on real quick. Josh said something, not Josh, but what do you think about this? Zaman said the start of the 5-round Aaron Rose fight. Let me see. Got to admit, exchanges locked. Exchanges look mad goofy. Doesn't help the WMMA reputation at all. Do you think that fight was a bad representation for WMMA?
Aaron versus who?
Rose,
Nah,
like
I
some of
wouldn't
the
say that.
exchanges. I personally,
Here's my problem, man. Like you got all kind of male fighters that have sloppy technique with their
exactly
hand. You just look
raggedy,
through the heavyweight division. There's plenty
raggedy
of them.
hands, raggedy.
Like here's the thing. This is why I'm so high on Natalia Silva, right? Because not only does she have the skill, but she has that freaking casual style that I'm hoping can turn heads around in terms of their opinion on women's MMA. That's another reason why I'm rooting for someone like a Natalia Silva and others, because they have that style no one's gonna be complaining, oh, they're grappling and they're hugging too much. Like, nah, she stays at range. You feel what I'm saying? So dude, there's plenty of fighters that have exciting fights. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't see Rose as someone who could ever be a bad representation. If she's like in half of a fight, I don't see how that could ever be a bad representation because she has slick striking. And for the most part, she does strike. But I don't know. The exchanges may have looked goofy, but
yeah,
I mean, I couldn't tell because I'm not looking for like pretty technique.
And the thing
But
is,
I get
like,
what he's saying.
some of them were landing too, and I always think I'm thinking down to the level of like the MMA fan too. Sometimes MMA fan, they just want to see hands connect. You know, like they ain't really the types to look for pretty striking like in boxing. Like these guys, they just want somebody to, bust somebody in the head. And you know, Aaron and Rose, yes, some of the exchanges didn't look good, but I wouldn't say that was like a bad fight. That wasn't like, of course, it wasn't like Carla Rose that rematch, or even like what was that, the Valentina Liz Carmouche fight where nothing really happened. What was that other one, Mark? It was Marcus. He knows. What was her name? Vanessa Mello and Sarah Morris. Whew, that was a bad fight. Those are fights where I just say like those are just could turn you off. But I don't think like in a technical standpoint, if you go in knowing who Aaron is, you ain't going to expect the prettiest striking. Um, if you go in knowing Rose, she'll give you a fight for a few rounds, but then sometimes mentally she just kind of fizzles out. So I thought it was a decent fight. And I definitely can't say it would turn me off of the sport or even like a newcomer because they fought to the level of some of these other men did to me. Some of these other guys, their hands is just bad, man. Like, yes, what are they doing?
I don't know. I do believe though that clinching is the one thing that hurts the women more than anything is the
Yeah.
clinching.
Okay.
Because when I see women's mixed martial arts outside of the UFC, that's one thing I see a lot of is excessive clinching that doesn't lead to a takedown, that doesn't lead to dirty boxing on the inside. No, it's just like you can clearly see that that person's objective is to hold them up against the cage. That's something I see a lot outside of the UFC is excessive clinch work that doesn't involve strikes, doesn't involve takedown attempts. Now, granted, I don't watch male fights outside of the UFC. So I don't know how much of it is in their fights as well, but that's the one thing that I think does kind of hurt women's fights.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. I do think that's why Macy Barber improved her, came with a better clinch style. Like hers is exciting, where she's
Yep.
throwing elbows on the inside. But yeah, I think a lot of those fights where the girls are just holding that can turn people off, so
That's the one thing I would say above anything else. Cause like when you think of that, like that's how a lot of inexperienced, like untrained people will fight. They'll just start grabbing a hold of each other. Don't nobody even throw punches, and somehow they end up to the floor or something. And like it just, I can see how the casual fan would be reminded of that, and then it gets elevated because they're women. You know what I'm saying? So I think, because to me that says like if you clinching someone like that, that means either you're striking, you don't have, or you don't have wrestling, and you don't have jiu-jitsu. Not near one of those three. To me, people who fight like that are either A, they're hell bent on safety and like taking very little damage as possible, and that's like their top primary thing, or they simply don't train the disciplines well enough. Because if you're a striker, you're going to stay at range. Even if you're getting beat up, you might clinch a little bit, but your objective is not going to be to hold them up against the cage.
Yeah.
Wrestler, same thing. You're going to try to at least take them down. Or, you know what I'm saying? If you're a grappler, whatever, like, I feel like when you elect to do that, it's either a lack of training or it's a commitment to the safest style possible. Which, you know,
you ain't trying to get hit.
yeah, like, but at the same time, do you? Just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Well, all right. It's been a good show, good talk here. I think I'm gonna wrap this one up though. But was there anything else you wanted to say before we jump off of this one? Two Beasts.
I did plenty enough, bro. I did plenty enough. The only thing I'm gonna say is thanks. Grateful to be on, pretty much, and that's pretty much all I have to say with that. Thank you so much for letting me on.
You're welcome, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate their time, man, for coming on. Like I said, I was just going to get on Friday and maybe talk about the fights, but it was a good conversation as always. Let me see. Okay. Serrano Taylor's on now. Okay, so I need to get off of here then. Okay. And you're going with who you going with tomorrow? Veronica Hardy, you said?
I don't know, man.
Kareem
I
Silva?
think definitely picking Kareem Silva. And then I'll pick Mora. I'll be rooting for Veronica though. I think Mora without the weight cut will maybe surprise people.
Okay. Yeah. I'm hoping it does because I want to see a good fight. I'm hoping she doesn't look like she did at 115. Yeah. Yeah, Gunner. He said, thanks, guys, so much. It was a great show. Look forward to the next one. All right. Yeah, thank you for coming in. Lolita said thanks. And thanks, Two Beasts. You're welcome.
You're welcome. And thank y'all as well.
All right. On that note, I will catch y'all tomorrow, though. Yeah, tomorrow, Saturday, for the fights. Yeah. I'm getting on for the main card, not the prelims, because I'm not too excited about the whole card. So I will take a look at the main card and call the Arujo fight, though. All right, y'all. Let me see. On that note, yeah, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. All right. Peace.